Okay, I wanted to do one more example with substitution, just something a little more challenging. So let's take a look at this example. Now, our goal is to get a variable by itself. It doesn't matter if it's the x or the y, whatever. So the goal is you want to try to find the lowest number attached to the variable. For example, we have a 1x right here. So it is probably going to be easiest to get this isolated, or this 1x by itself. The reason you don't want to just divide by 6 and get it done in one step is that you're going to get fractions for both of these if you divide by 6. And that's going to be more challenging to deal with than it would be just to get a 1x by itself. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work with line 2. I'm going to work with line 2, and we're going to solve for x. So my first step for solving for x, or moving everything to the other side, is to add 2y to both sides of this wall. And so what I get is that these are going to cancel out. I want to leave the original writing here so it's easier to see. So I'm going to cancel my 2y's out, and I'm going to be left with x plus 4 is equal to a 2y. You know, if there's nothing on that side and I add 2y, it means the only thing over there is add 2y, or positive 2y. Now finally, to get x by itself, we're just going to subtract 4. And so if I subtract 4 over here, subtract 4 over here, remember, because those are not like terms, I'm going to write the variable first. So I'm going to write 2y and then the constant by itself, so minus 4. So x is equal to 2y minus 4. So if I take, or if I want to solve using substitution, I'm going to replace anywhere I have an x with this entire 2y minus 4. So in line 1, I can replace x with 2y minus 4. So instead of 6, so from line 1, instead of 6 times x, this is really going to be 6 times 2y minus 4, because I'm replacing x with what it's equal to, which is 2y minus 4. So I'm just following this equation. Now this equals a negative 16 plus 4y. So I'm just going to copy that down. Negative 16 plus 4y. So do you see how this is the same? 6x equals negative 16 plus 4y. 6x, being represented by 2y minus 4, equals negative 16 plus 4y. So the first goal is probably the hardest. Get a variable by itself and substitute. Once you do that, the rest is just solving. When we see parentheses, that means we want to distribute. So I'm going to take this number on the outside, this positive 6, and I'm going to distribute or multiply that positive 6 to each term on the inside of the parentheses. 6 times 2y gives me 12y. 6 times a negative 4 gives me a negative 24. And this is equal to a negative 16 plus 4y. Now, I told you that you want to look for like terms on the same side of the equal sign. Notice how we have y's on both sides, but we don't have any like terms over here we can combine, or like terms over here we can combine. So what we want to do is we want to take the smaller of the variables and move that over to the other side in order to avoid negative numbers. So I have a 12y over here and a 4y over here. That 4 is smaller, so I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. Remember, 2, it's like term. Those are gone. But 12y minus 4y gives me an 8y. Minus 24 just drops straight down. And this is equal to this negative 16 that I didn't do anything with over on the right-hand side. From here, we want to get y by itself. So we're going to add 24 to both sides. So I'm left with 8y equals a negative 16 plus a 24 is a positive 8. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 8. So once I do that, I would get that y equals 1. Now again, we're solving by substitution. So it feels like this is a long problem. That's because it is. Our first goal is to get one equation to where we have a variable isolated. We chose equation 2, and we got this 1x by itself. Once we did that, we substituted or replaced from equation 1, we replaced we replaced x with 2y minus 4. After I solved and simplified and distributed and all that, I got down to y equals 1. So all that work to get an answer of 1, that is fantastic. But now I need to figure out, okay, when y equals 1, what does x equal? And so what we can do is use this problem down here where x is already solved. And we're going to go ahead and replace everywhere I have a y with a 1. Because again, we need a coordinate point. We need an x comma y. We have half of our information right now. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to rewrite this. So x equals, instead of 2 times y, this is going to be 2 times 1 minus 4. So I'm replacing y with 1 because y is equal to 1. 2 times 1, as we know, is 2. So we get 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 gives me a negative 2. That means our final answer is that if I were to graph these two equations, solve for y, get them in slope-intercept form, and graph them on a coordinate plane, they would intersect or cross at the point negative 2, comma 1. So that would be our x, comma y.